To start the video off, we're going to want to go over all the changes in the new update. The main changes that happened was R1 dribbling is back. They sped it up. They sped up the dribbling with it because in the prior patches they slowed it down to deal with the defending because everyone was complaining in the community. But they changed it. They reverted it. It's around 80% of what it was, so it's still pretty good. So much better than it was. And this allows you to be a lot more aggressive in the attack, wide plays, and midfield. That's a huge change. Another big change that happened recently was the fix of jockey. This allowed it to go quicker while you're jockeying and to be more controlled and quicker off the sprint when you let it go. This is important because you want your defenders to have jockey plus or the playstyle plus, and especially with one of the objectives that happened a couple weeks ago, you could get jockey plus. So this allows good playstyle plus to add as an evo to one of your left backs, which is going to be very necessary. Now that we finished discussing the changes, we're going to go straight into the tactics. The formation you're going to want is going to be the 4-4-1-1. This allows wide play and defensive coverage while being aggressive at the same time. So it's all around just a better formation. The main play styles you're going to want for this, especially with the new change, is going to be technical plus play styles. Players like this are like Olise, Musiala, and players that I have on the team right now that are big players that have it and that are game changers are Nwaneri, Palmer, and Diaz. This allows them just to do a controlled sprint forward, a little slower than an actual sprint, but way quicker than just left stick control. Now we're going to go into the tactics. For the tactics, you're going to want the build-up style to be balanced. Other build-up styles like counter are too risky and too aggressive to play, especially with R1 being back. A counter allows you to move your players forward, which leaves space in the midfield and in defense for you to get played through if you lose the ball. So it's a little too risky. You could use it if you're around the end of the game, especially if you're losing or you need goals. But overall, you want to stay on balance. The other thinkable build-up style would be short passing, but it ends up building out the back too slowly. The midfield is not going to have options. Wingers aren't going to be moving forward. It's going to be hard to be making runs. The defensive approach is going to be balanced because it's a good mix of line height to go forward without being exposed to defense. If you use a high line or an extra high line, it does leave you successful to through balls, especially with a meta of incisive and making runs, controlling runs. This makes it quite difficult to defend if you get played over top if you don't have defenders with a lot of pace. Now going into player roles, you're going to want your goalkeeping to be onto the traditional goalkeeping and defend. One of the big changes here are going to want both fullbacks on fullback and defend. You could have them balanced if you were looking to be a little more aggressive, but if you do decide to do that, I would recommend moving your goalkeeper to ball-playing goalkeeper because then it'll help with build-up. But overall, I believe defense would be better because it gives you more coverage. And if you lose the ball off the build-up, then you will have the fullbacks there to deal with the meta players like Claudia Pina and all the other players that are fast like that. You're going to be wanting both center backs on defender and defend. Then you're going to want your center mids on holding and ball winning. This allows them to be there for the build-up out the back and provide cover defensively. Without running DMs, you're going to need them on holding in order to cover the space between the midfield and the back line, especially since you're unbalanced. And ball winning makes sure they're aggressive to the ball, which is really beautiful in order to try to win it quickly and go on the next attack. The next thing you're going to want to do is you're going to have your right mid and left mid both on decisive forward to provide support and options through the middle. Having the singular striker up top does make it difficult for options near and around the box, so you do want them on inside forward. In my things, I have one of them on winger, and lately I've been thinking that about 50% of the time you'd want to change your tactics to this during the game because it allows wide ball play and it opens up their defense to play balls through the middle. The last two parts are going to be you want your cam on traditional playmaking. just to move the ball, just to be there, and then you want your striker to be advanced, just so it's the body up top. Now that we have the tactics in check, the next thing we're going to go over is gameplay. Now, a new big part of the gameplay is just going to be to possess the ball. A big part that's back is the controlled sprint and R1 dribbling. You do this by holding down R1 or RB and moving your player around with your left stick. This allows your players to do a fast sprint but have control over the ball. A good way to use this is to move it around in the midfield to try to open up the opponent's defense and possess the ball. Possessing the ball allows you just to move it side by side, and it makes the defense of the opponent panic and move around, which allows space to play through balls, which is important. Another big thing that you're going to have to do is to send players on runs. You do this by pointing at a player with your left stick and pressing LB or L1. This sends him on a run forward, which allows you to play an incisive or through ball. You can play this over the top by double tapping it or by just pressing it once and holding it. It's important in order for your wingers to move forward and to get your team up when your opponent's defense is playing a high line especially. Another important mechanic is calling your players back. This is performed by pressing RB or R1. The whole purpose of this is to call one of your strikers back as an option to control the ball possesses. If you're R1 sprinting with your midfield and going forward, and you don't have much options, you're going to have to call one of your cams or one of your strikers back in order just to keep control of the ball and not give it away sneakily. Putting all this stuff together is where you R1 dribble with the midfielder, and then you call your striker or cam back and play at them. You then get control of the ball, and then you play it back to the midfielder. You then look to your winger, you press LB, send him on a run, and then you play them the through ball, preferably over the top because they're going to be on the side. This is very important right now because it's combining the best parts of the meta and to attack, and allows the wingers to have their wide play, opening up the defense and the midfield, and then you just play an easy ball back into the box and get finished. The next big thing you're going to do is cross the ball and switch the field. The longer you hold it, the further it goes. And it's good because if you see here, you can just switch it back and forth between the sides from your goalie to the winger and one winger back to the other one. And now their defense is out of sorts, and I can just play the through ball over the top into the space that you created through those balls. It's very important because you can literally just get out of the back line into your winger, and now you're already attacking when their defense is out of sorts, send players on runs with it, and now you have one of the best combos in the game, allowing easy goals through the middle. The last big thing we're going over attacking that you need to remember today is quickly transitioning from defense to offense. You see here, I quickly win the ball, and I move it back. I bring my striker back using the RB or R1, and then I quickly just move it side by side until I see the space, and I get the shot off. This is very important because it just allows you to get upwards and out of your defense whenever your opponents are there. Because if they're all the way next to your box, you don't have time to try to possess the ball. And their back line is already up the top, so it's better if you just try to get it up quickly and try to go on a counter. This is why balance is very good, because it allows you to have a balance between possessing the ball and going quickly on the attack through runs.